Oh, it'd help if my camera was working, huh? There's a blunder. Oh! Oh, boy. Let me fix my camera. This is the fault of my son who I left in my office. He decided he was tearing things up. So let's see if I can fix it. Sorry if it's making you dizzy there. And then, one sec. You can't hear? Sound working for everyone? Hopefully. Check, check, check. This microphone's like blowing out. Yeah, I need to up my game. I can show you. So I put new sound dampeners on the wall. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Okay, yeah. I put new sound dampeners on the wall. I was going to do this stream. And yeah, there, my wife's in the chat. My wife said, take Hank up with you. He could be in the background playing. I said, okay. All right, let me fix the sound real quick. I said, okay. He unplugged everything. He ripped the sound dampeners off the wall. He whacked the light around there. All right, this should be better. All right, we're back. What is going on with this lighting? It's brutal. Let's see if I can do this. Nah, whatever. Am I even using the right damn camera? What is going on? All right, you have to forgive me for a minute. What is happening? No. We'll just do that. What's going on here? One second. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. Zoom, focus. Shouldn't autofocus. Here, wait. Let me try something. Give me a second. You can still hear me, but I'm gonna mess with this camera. Anyways, this is what happens when your little man gets in your office and the maniac. He's a great guy. Small price to pay being a dad to the greatest son. That sometimes he wrecks your equipment. No biggie. Let's see. Okay, that's all good. Do I have to have that open? That's crazy. Okay. That looks good. So let's try this now. It's better. Now I can turn the brightness back up on my light bulbs. Yeah, it's better. Sorry about that. All right. Will I debate vegan gains again? Sure. Yeah, we'll talk a little here before I get to the big announcement. My friend Aftershock's here too. I would have actually brought I assumed Aftershock was at work. The announcement pertains to him as well. That's right, Aftershock and I have a big announcement. We're engaged. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. I'm already married. Sorry, Aftershock, to get your hopes up there. I'm sure Aftershock's girlfriend appreciates that. Huge announcement for the channel. Our working partnership has become a romantic one. No, Yeah, just a couple things. I debated vegan gains Thursday. Would I debate vegan gains again? Sure. I thought that other than I thought it was a pretty solid victory for me. I actually expected more from him. I didn't think he brought much to the table. But in fairness, maybe that's not a topic that he picked the topic, but maybe that's not the his forte. The only umbrage I take is I really do hate when people give this advice like, oh, you should run from the police if you feel threatened. That's ridiculous. That will actually lead to people being harmed. And I'm not a big fan of when I'm in debates with people where they're giving sort of life advice that I think's really shitty. Like I don't give a lot of life advice. The life advice I give, let's be honest, is like benign type stuff. Like you should get married. You should find friends and family. You should stay positive. Understand that, friends and family are more important. Don't get depressed. Even if you hate me, no one's like, that's terrible advice. And if they are, they're probably miserable people. But like when you're giving advice, like, if you're giving health advice that's just objectively like shitty, like that, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? Don't do that. And that idea of, telling people to run from the police under circumstances, I think is really stupid. But, I don't think that he's got a huge audience of people that are going to listen to that, hopefully. But other than that, I didn't find him to be an objectionable person. So I would be willing to debate him again, absolutely. I wish him the best. I'm glad he came on and debated me. Most people don't want to debate me, so good for me. So yeah, I didn't mind the debate with vegan gains. My wife's happy to get rid of me and shove me off to Aftershock. So y'all are watching me instead of the Super Bowl right now, right? I know, I'll take the garbage out, wife. I saw Chris Stapleton's national anthem. It was pretty good. I'm not watching the Super Bowl. And it's not because I'm super anti-sports. I still watch some Pittsburgh sports. I don't really have an interest that much anymore. And if my team's not in it, I don't really care. Old Rob would have watched it, no doubt. But now it's like, yeah, ill vegan gains. Thank you so much, Bandit, for the subscription. I really appreciate it. You'll see I have a new subscriber goal up top there. Right there. Buying a new computer for streaming. So we're going for 3,000 subs. That'll give me more than enough money. So I'm going to patiently wait to keep talking until someone donates the, 800 and something subs there that I need. So I figure 3 minutes, we'll get 800 subs. Then I could keep going on with the show. What the hell? We'll keep talking anyways. We know the subs will roll in. New background. And I got the new song, though. Did you guys hear that? Here, let me play it real quick. So, let me explain how that came about. This isn't the huge announcement. So, I am going to have a new background. I'm getting a new computer, all of that stuff. Aftershock really helped me out. He basically outlined with a friend of his all of the computer parts I need to buy. By the way, Aftershock, get in touch with me later tonight about that part I need to get from you. So we could get that worked out, because I'd like to have all this ordered by Wednesday. I'm ordering the stuff, and then I'm going to raise the funds with it as we go. So, but yeah, my wife rearranged my office. I got a new desk, so I actually got room where I could keep like a notepad here. I'm going to have a new background, backlighting, things of that nature. So yeah, I'm excited. I think the production values of the show are going to go up with all of that stuff. YouTube's got a new thing, which I hate YouTube, but they got a new creators music studio, and you could search certain songs there. And what they're doing is there's different types of songs. There's songs that you could pay to license. Then there's songs that if you're monetized, they get a percentage of your episode if you use that song. And then there's songs they have that are just free. So I'll play you a little of my song that I picked out for now. It's temporary, but I actually thought it was all right. It's from a group called Track Tribe, and the name of the song is As You Were. I thought it had some Hendrix vibes to it, which I like Hendrix, so I'll put my intro screen on with it, and you can see what y'all think. I'll leave it play for a couple minutes. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was a Yeah, my wife likes it. And then I also came up with this, the new outro. Now you might all think, okay, that's nothing to be that impressed with. But for me, a technological moron, I'm pleased with myself on that. So trying to up the production. But none of that's the big announcement. So let's just stop bearing the lead and get to the big announcement. The big announcement. Like, the last time I had a big announcement, it was just me playing the Space Odyssey song and turning around with my son Hank. He was my special guest for like my 1000th show or something like that. Rachel Wilson here, thank you. Peripherally, the big announcement pertains to Rachel as well. So, okay, here we go. What's up, River? How you doing? Right, left of center. One of my favorite people to interact with. Hopefully, we get to talk soon, River. I look forward to helping out with. This is not the big announcement also, but River, I think, is helping out with my friend Aircraft Sparky. He's got like a sort of non-political variety show he's doing on Thursdays, and I'm hoping to start creating some pre-recorded videos to send into that show that he could play there. So, yeah, hopefully, maybe we could do something live. Right, left of center is formerly a professional wrestler and also makes some hilarious stuff with puppets and stuff like that. She's actually an entertainer as opposed to me, that where I'm just like a blowhard that comes on and yells about politics and culture. So yeah, hopefully I get to do something. But all right, so here we go. Here's what the announcement is. So everyone knows that me and my friend Aftershock have been partnering with a guy named John Burke to do this show, Drunken Debates. Aftershock's been a producer for the show, and then I was the co-host. The idea behind Drunken Debates was it was going to be a panel show that half the time John would moderate and then I would debate, and then the other half the time I would moderate and John would debate. So the first part of this announcement is the show of Drunken Debates is officially canceled. It is no more. The reason for that canceling is that John Burke has a bunch of business opportunities and he's no longer able to put time into that show. So I have no hard feelings for John, but it's one of those things where Aftershock and I talked about this. We don't want John to feel like he has to stretch himself thin and not have fun, and it feels like he has to do work to do a show with me and Aftershock. That's the last thing that I want to do. The first and foremost reason that I stream is because I have fun doing it, and I don't want anyone to interact with me out of pity or out of a sense of obligation. If it's not fun for the people interacting with me, I don't want them to be obligated. And I'm pretty sure Aftershock feels the same way there. And it's also not fair to me, and it's not fair to Aftershock if we continue to set up a show and the co-host obligations means he can't be there. Because that means that Aftershock as a producer has to scramble. Last week, here Friday, Drunken Debates, Rachel Wilson was in the chat. Her husband, Andrew Wilson, saved our ass. He came in literally 5 minutes before the show started. We found out that John wasn't going to be able to be there because he had a situation come up, and so Andrew saved us. That's not fair to the other people on the panel either because, all of us are personalities, and let's not kid ourselves. John Burke had the biggest audience out of me, Aftershock, and him. And so when you're selling to people as a producer like Aftershock was, he's selling to people, would you like to come on this show, John Burke and robnoerr show? There's probably a lot of people that are like, oh, I would like to do that because John Burke has a bigger audience. And so when John's not there, you kind of feel like, even though everyone was cool, all of our guests were cool, you kind of feel like you cheated them, that you gave them false pretenses. And so it was just a better situation. It was an amicable walking away. There's no hard feelings on my end for sure. I think Aftershock feels the same way, and I feel John feels the same way. So I'm not here to tell you like, oh, I'm a competitor of John. I'm not saying that at all. I enjoyed my time with him. I thought, the 6 episodes we had, I thought we did good stuff. I thought it helped grow my Rumble channel. Hopefully it helped John's channel out as well. Good and good. So time to move forward. So that's half of the announcement, which is sort of a bummer. But everything in life is an opportunity. When you have change, there's an opportunity. And I think that we have been given a fantastic opportunity, Aftershock and I. So One of my favorite people to interact with in the online space is Andrew Wilson. Now, Andrew is a dirty, dirty Christian nationalist who me and him have debated against each other probably as much as we've debated with each other. But if I'm honest with you, Andrew and I agree on 90 to 95% of political issues. But more importantly than that, I just think Andrew's a great guy. Andrew is the type of guy who puts his money where his mouth is. He is someone who wanted a platform where people like me that were talking about issues were able to do so. So he put his own money in creating a streaming service called comfy.stream, which I'm streaming to right now, where I could say whatever I want unfiltered. He set up payment processors through his own pocket that they created that mean that if you donate to me on dono.chat, which is through comfy.stream, I get like 96% of all the money as opposed to like the 70% I get on Twitch or whatever. And anytime I've ever needed anything in this space, Andrew's helped me out. But it's not unique to just me. Andrew will do that even for left-wing people, right? And I think he's a very genuine person regardless of what you think of his politics. So Andrew came in last minute to fill in for Drunken Debates, and I just happened to be chatting with him afterwards, and he was like, why don't you and Aftershock bring a panel show to The Crucible? The Crucible is Andrew's channel that he's put together, and it is by far the best debate channel in the online sphere. Let me as easily as I can sum up why The Crucible is the best debate channel. Someone I don't really care for their ideology would be Vosh. And if you know Vosh, I called in the other day while he was debating on The Crucible and mentioned the fact that he had previously said that he wants to imagine a world where lefties could shoot out their windows of people like the Patriot Prayer people. He routinely talks about a trans genocide and basically advocates for authoritarian measures to censor, silence, and sometimes, I would argue, even gaslighting or dog whistling people into saying that they should take extreme action on people of certain right-wing ideologies. Andrew Wilson probably exemplifies that ideology that Vosh would hate more than anyone. And yet, Vosh will go on The Crucible and debate. Why? Because regardless of Andrew's positions, he is the most fair moderator in the space. He has the trust of anyone who's ever interacted on the show, be they left, right, center, anywhere in between, that if you go on The Crucible, you are going to get a fair shake. And I think that's a brand that he's built up painstakingly, and his audience is growing. I've debated routinely in The Crucible. I debated there Thursday night. And if you stuck around for the after show, Andrew said, the reason I haven't been debating a lot in The Crucible is not because Andrew doesn't want me to or I'm unwilling. It's because it's difficult to find people willing to debate me because I kick ass, right? So Andrew reached out to me and said, why don't you and Aftershock do a panel show on The Crucible? Because that's the one thing The Crucible doesn't have. It's got the one-on-one debates. It'll have two-on-two debates. It's got Andrew doing his own show and the Trash Talk extravaganza. But they do not have a panel show. And he has reached out to me and Aftershock and is allowing us to do a panel show on The Crucible. And he's helping us with all of the tech and production stuff. So I have access to his team that's helping me create music, helping me create graphics for the show, helping me advertise the show. It's going to help me do a better job taking call-ins in the show. And so the production value compared to Drunken Debates is going to be through the roof. In addition to that, Drunken Debates was a collaboration between three people, and I'm not going to lie to you, it was John Burke's show originally, and he had the bigger audience of us. So we sort of defaulted, Aftershock and I, to a lot of things that John wanted. This show is entirely Aftershock and mine, right? Which means we could do whatever we want. The only rules that we've been given by Andrew is because The Crucible streams to YouTube, we have to keep it within terms of service of YouTube. So we probably won't be talking about pandemics very much on the panel shows. And also just stuff that always fits in with my show. We're not going to leave a bunch of people coming on shouting the N-word and stuff like that. But other than that, spirited debate about whatever topics we want. We could run the show how we want. And I think that that's going to lead to a better show as well, because Aftershock and me, we were up until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. arguing about the dumbest shit last night, Aftershock and me. But we will succeed or fail based on our own merits, right? That's what the beauty of this is. It's going to give me access to a bigger audience. I mean, on a regular night on a Crucible debate, there is at minimum 300 people watching on various platforms. So the show will stream directly to the Crucible's YouTube channel. I will also record the show and then be uploading it at least to my Rumble channel. And as long as I feel it falls within terms of service, I'll also upload that to my YouTube channel. Eventually, when I get my new computer, I will also live stream it to Twitch, as long as we don't have a guest that's banned on Twitch. But until I get my new computer, because of technical issues with my computer, I'll probably just stream it out to the Crucible channels. Yeah, sure, Aftershock. So it's going to be an incredible opportunity. And what's cool is I had 150 people watching Drunken Debates the other night. My guess is 30% of those people are regular watchers of the Crucible. And so I think there's really an opportunity for me to bring like 80 people a night when we do the show that maybe usually weren't watching the Crucible to add on to that 300 plus that are already there. And I think we have the ability within a short time to have 500 plus people watching that show every night. It will be the premier panel debate show on the web, bar none. It will be. We have the best producer in Aftershock. We have an incredible dedicated team led by Andrew Wilson, Mr. Enigmatic, and some other people that are running tech issues behind the scenes. We are committed to 1/3 of the show being about audience engagement, which means the show is going to be on Saturday evenings, which is a primetime slot. We're going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern, at least originally, and try to go to 11 p.m., though it always goes a little late. The idea is to have 2 hours of debate on one or maybe two topics, right? And then that third hour, we're going to take call-ins and we're going to read super chats, right? So the idea is to build audience engagement. And I think it's a brilliant idea. It's something that Andrew's really mastered. It's not just that Andrew's audience is growing, and it is, and it's a significant audience, but I think the Crucible audience is one of the most engaged because you literally get to participate in the debate, not just through super chats, but you literally could call in. And I don't know any other show where you could do that with debaters. And I've certainly never seen that on a panel show. Now, we're going to try to limit if you call in to interact with one of the panelists, because if you ask like 4 panelists a question, you'll end up being there for 40 minutes. But that's the idea. So I think that with that, and I think that I'm a fantastic moderator. I think that you could see the energy I brought to moderation. And look, the other thing is, and this is a stylistic choice, right? I'm not saying there's not a right way to do this. Just like there's not a right way to debate, right? Some people come on and debate and they might sound like this. I watched a debate on the Crucible last night and there was a guy named Garland Farms on there. He reminded me of Hank Hill, and his delivery was very monotone and slow. And so as he was making his opening statement, I was thinking, this is going to be a difficult debate to listen to. I shit you not, by the end of that debate, I subscribed to that dude's channel. He knew what he was talking about. You could see, despite the fact that he had sort of a slow speaking cadence and he was sort of a little bit monotone, he had an incredible passion for farming, the topic that he was talking about. And he absolutely destroyed this vegan couple. It was incredible to watch. And I actually got to call in and talk to him. I'm hoping to have him as a guest on the show. But just like that, there's people all the time say like, what's the right way to debate? I think that people like me and people like Andrew, when we debate, we try to match the energy of the person we're debating. So if we're debating someone that's very scholastic, we're probably not going to be like, fuck you. But if we're debating someone that wants to throw out insults, okay. Like, we could play that game too. But there's no one right way to do it. The same is true with moderation, right? You can have a debate show that's very evidence-driven, very scholastic, or you could have one that's more blood sporty, where people are like, fuck you, and going at it. I think that John Burke's idea of moderation was different than mine, where John wanted to keep it very toned down, to the point where even closing statements, you weren't allowed to reference the arguments that other people made. My style is completely different. We will encourage a hard edge to the people that are coming. In fact, one of the things we're looking at people that will be panelists are people that have thick skin and aren't going to cry if someone challenges them and things get a little heated. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to just let it be a shouting match and it'll just be personal insults the whole time. But I don't mind a back and forth and some insults being thrown around and things like that. I think that that's the way to do it. And I think if you build panelists that you could trust and are expecting that, then that's fantastic. For example, me and Andrew on Drunken Debates like 3 weeks ago debated synth and bunk. We don't give a shit. We all know each other. I'll be like, fuck you, you idiots. You know, you pieces of shit. What the fuck do you lefties know? And I know they're not going to leave and be like, I'm devastated. They'll just be like, whatever, fat fuck. Like, that's it. Life goes on. It's okay. You know, so that's more of the environment we're looking for. I also think that one of the things I bring is you'll see moderators, particularly on panel shows, that are totally tuned out. They're not really paying attention, right? They just chime in when they think. I'm the exact opposite. I'm actually listening. I get to pick the topic, so I'm actually listening because I'm interested in what people have to say. And so that means that I'm able to steer the conversation in a direction that I think that the audience will enjoy because I actually know what's going on and I'm paying attention. And so I think that that will make me a moderator that's, you know, different. One of the things we also have access to doing the show on the Crucible is we also have access to basically all of the people that have ever been debated on the Crucible. And there's some big names in there. So I think our chances to get bigger names to come on is actually going to be increased as well. So the plan is for the show to be Saturday evenings, 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. And obviously it could go a little long. Again, 2 hours of debate, then we'll probably close up if it's one or two topic, then bring in audience callers, try to get like 3 or 4 calls, have those go for half an hour, and then super chats for about 40 minutes, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And that'll be sort of what our normal show is. We are almost 95% sure the show will be called The Arena. And I'm asking for you all's opinions on if you like that idea for a name of the show, The Arena. And I'll tell you why. First, I thought it was important to have a show name that kind of fits in with the theme of The Crucible, right? So initially, there was a show on The Crucible called The Inquisition. My wife does like the name. It was called The Inquisition. And we talked about it, and maybe for me, that has a little more religious connotation than someone like me would normally bring. So then we talked about the Gauntlet, but apparently there was a show named The Gauntlet, the Coliseum, but then the Arena. And the reason I came up with the Arena was this. I'll play you a clip. There is a quote that I really enjoy, and it's from Theodore Roosevelt, and I'll try to play the quote for you. And I'll explain what this means to me. Hopefully this works. We'll see.
The poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer. There are many men who feel a kind of twisted pride and cynicism. There are many who confine themselves to criticism of the way others do what they themselves dare not even attempt. There is no more unhealthy being, no man less worthy of respect than he who either really holds or feigns to hold an attitude of sneering disbelief toward all that is great and lofty, whether in achievement or in that noble effort which, even if it fails, comes to second achievement. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
To me, that's one of my favorite quotes in history. And to summarize what he's saying is, there is a group of people that point their finger when people try something and fail and say, this is what they should have done better. This is where they're wrong. This is why they suck. But the person who tries and fails is still better than the person who never tried. Better to be one who fails than to have never experienced victory or defeat, right? One thing that I could honestly say that I got through debate in college, there were people that I watched cry in debate in college because I don't know why they got into it. They thought they would like it and then they hated it, or they had to do it for class. It takes something to stand up in front of people and argue, or to sing a song, or to read a poem. I don't care if it sucks. To stand up and perform in front of people, I respect that even if I hate what you're saying. To me, I can at least acknowledge there is something in that person that is in me. They're trying. They're putting themselves out there. My idea for calling the show The Arena is that to come on this show, I hope that the panelists treat these sort of things like I do. And I've talked about this before. The only fair way I know to treat the people that I interact with is to treat them as if they are my equal. If I am debating someone who's 17 years old and I say, well, they're young, dumb, and stupid, and so I'm going to adjust, that's not fair to that person. If I'm debating someone who it's obvious they don't know what they're talking about, and so I put kids' glove on, that's not fair to them. The most fair thing I could do is to treat everyone who steps into the arena as equal. Synth 17. Synth's a good debater, though. So that's the idea for the show, that you're not going to get... You remember when I debated... Heem did a panel, and I was on it. Destiny was on the panel, and there was a chick named Progressive Brat that was on there. And she came in hot, like, I'm not going to listen to you guys mansplain. So I was just like, okay. So I just shredded her the whole time, and Destiny was shredding her. It was like the only time me and Destiny were ever on the same side in a debate. And Heem kept saying, it's her first time, guys, take it easy. Man, forget about that shit. To me, that would be insulting to her. You're here. You knew what you were getting into. All I could do is treat you like I would anyone else in your position. That's how I feel. So that's where I got I think the name, The Arena, fits in with the theme of the Crucible. And I think it also fits in the theme of what I think going on these online spheres and debating is about. And so I thought maybe we would take that quote that you just heard from Roosevelt there, and maybe put some of background music of our creation behind it and some graphics and have that be the entry. We'll see, though. I'm not good at that sort of stuff, so I'll talk to Mr. Enigmatic and some other people, but I just wanted to get people's opinions if they thought that once I explained how I thought of the name The Arena, if you all thought that was an acceptable name for a show. Or you can be honest, if you think it's cheesy and stupid, that's fine too. But I like the name. So I just wondered what everyone's opinion was on the name. My wife said she liked it, so that's 90% of the battle for me. But Arena, like it, hate it, don't really give a shit as long as the show's okay. What do you think? go ahead and let me know in the chat. I would appreciate it. The other idea that I had, and I thank my friend Aftershock, even though I was arguing with him. So then there was the idea of putting my name like Normal Arena or Rob's Arena or something like that. But the Crucible doesn't have that. It's not like Andrew's Crucible, right? So for me, I think that the theme needs to run through that my name shouldn't be on the show. So that I just think the arena fits in better with the idea of the Crucible. Yeah, I like the Coliseum too. The only reason I went with the arena over the Coliseum was that specific quote as reference to the man in the arena. But hopefully that's another idea I had. We're trying to separate ourselves from another show in terms of getting guests. And an idea I had, given that idea, that anyone who steps in to the arena, right, should be proud of that they at least stepped in. And that meant, regardless of how the debate went, even if they got crushed, at least they were willing to step in and take a chance. So my wife got one of these does anyone know what a Cricut is? It's like this crazy machine that like could cut out vinyl and stuff in different shapes and what have. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, maybe the arena with robnoerr. Yeah. Maybe that would be all right. Yeah. That's not bad. There is a show called, that's true, there is PPS Massive Trash Talk Extravaganza. Also a fantastically named show. So anyways, with this Cricut, what we thought of doing is we're going to make a plaque that eventually would be hung up on my wall. And it will, anyone who makes it through the show, so they don't get kicked off, they don't leave in tears, would get their name cricketed on this plaque. Now, when I say plaque, it's not what you're thinking of. It's not like wood with the brass name tags, but it would be an acrylic that will be painted, and then you'll be able to clearly see everyone's name. And so there will be no, well, you had to win the debate to get on there, or you've been on here 5 times, so your name gets up higher. It will literally just be everyone who has been on there's name will be on there. It's not something I'll send to people. It'll stay here. And then once it fills up, we'll start a second one and start a third one and whatever. But I think that it would be kind of cool because eventually, one, you already have some of the best debaters in the game. Andrew's going to be there. Rachel's going to be there at times. Maybe I'll get to debate someday and someone will host it for me. But, but I think we'll be able to get people that are big names. And I think it would be cool if you're a small streamer to have your name on something that you participated in the same show that some big names, maybe a politician did. A camera will be necessary, so I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think it's a cool idea. It's something. It's not like you'd be like, yeah. It's not like getting a VIP pass to the America First with Nick Fuentes or anything like Beardson. Like where it was the coolest thing ever. But I think it'd be cool to be like, yeah, fuck, there's my name. It's on the back there. And then the idea would be like, we'll show it. So if you're finished the show, hopefully by next week's show, your name's on the plaque. And then at the end of the show, we'll show a picture of the plaque and you can see the names that build and build and build. And, who knows? Maybe we do the show 5 years. Maybe we do the show 6 months. I think it'll be cool to have that physical, real life, memorabilia of like, this was everyone who made that show. Well, so then here's the other thing, right? You have to start somewhere with guests. And the bare minimum of a guest that we want is you have to have a camera. You have to have a microphone. And we understand that sometimes life might happen and you need to back out, but you have to be reliable. And so even if you're a big name, if you're like, well, I can't come on until 40 minutes late and I can only stay for 30 minutes, like, nope, sorry. Like that, if you are invited, you are as important as any other guest, right? We're not going to be like, oh, you're the bigger channel, so we'll screw everyone else over to accommodate you. Like, it's not going to work that way. So you need a camera. That's bare minimum. You will. We'll probably also ask everyone to send a headshot just in case we have promotional material like making thumbnails and stuff like that. Probably won't use headshots on thumbnails just because what are you going to do, put 6 people? Oh, by the way, the idea is to have the panel be 5, 6, or 7 people. So it won't be an 8-person panel ever. 5, 6, or 7, depending on who we reach out to and get. I don't mind having the regulars on. And by regulars, I mean the people that do the panels all the time. Prime Case, Joe Lewis, Stardust, CTV. That's fine. But we want to have a healthy mix of people. There are a lot of people that have been on the Crucible debating one-on-one who have never really done a panel show. And I think that this would be an interesting opportunity to see how they interact in a panel. So hopefully we could bring people to the show that people that traditionally watch panel shows have never seen. And that could sort of grow, right? But we also, my idea is we try to at least bring one person who has never streamed on the Crucible on a week. Because one of the things is, I think that there will be a symbiotic relationship between the panel shows and the one-on-one debates. And so if we bring someone into the panel show that's never done a one-on-one debate on the Crucible, that gets them an interaction into what to expect from the Crucible brand. The fair moderation, the treatment by the producers that's second to none, right? That you're going to be treated like you are someone that we are looking forward to coming on. And so if you come on the panel show, then maybe it makes it easier for Andrew to say, hey, I heard you on the panel show, had an interesting take on abortion. Here's someone I know that would be great to debate you on abortion. Would you be willing to do it? And so we could grow that. And simultaneously, if Andrew has people on debating certain one-on-one issues, then we would be able to reach out to them and say, we heard you discussing this issue on veganism. We're going to have a topic on veganism. Would you like to come on the panel? So I think that that's something that we're going to try to do, bring new faces in. But I don't mind some of those old faces. We're also going to try to reach out to bigger people. And the way you do, one of the things that Andrew's done with the Crucible that's brilliant is the way you treat people is how you grow your brand, right? And we will try our best to continue the Crucible's great reputation in treating people in fair and unbiased ways as much as possible. And again, there are people that absolutely hate Andrew's political takes, but are absolutely willing to come on the Crucible. I've heard left-winger after left-winger say, Crucible's the most fair debate platform, right? And it's not just the moderation, it's also how people are treated behind the scenes, right? It is a different type of environment. And it's something that might seem weird to my audience. My audience has seen me yell and scream and tell people exactly how I feel, particularly on the left. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm biased. I don't like the left. I don't like the extreme left. I think they're ruining the fucking world in this country. There are things about the establishment right that I hate as well, but that's who I am. But that is not the hat I wear as a moderator. If that is, obviously you can never completely eliminate your bias, but as a moderator, my performance is acceptable if a person who has never seen me watches and says, I have no idea what that guy's positions are. That's what I'm seeking to strive for. And so it might be weird if someone like Vosh comes on to debate on the panel show and I'm not sitting there like, Vosh, why are you ducking me? Why won't you debate me one-on-one? But I can't do that as the moderator. I won't do that. That's not the time and the place for it. If he would agree to come on the show, he will be treated professionally like everyone else. He's not going to get special treatment, but I'm not going to put some personal vendetta or my personal ideology out there. It's not going to happen. And so the way you grow and reach people that are bigger streamers or people that perhaps aren't streamers but are experts in a field that normally don't do this stuff, the way you reach those people is that you show that there is a professionalism to your show. That doesn't mean that we're like, oh, we're here today in suits and ties and we're going to keep the curse words on. No. We're going to have fun. They will understand if you come on, you might just get screamed at. You might have people insulting you, but that's the idea. We also, I think Aftershock and I, and he'll come on and we'll talk about this at some point, But I think Aftershock and I both are in agreement that we don't want thin-skinned people. We don't want people that are going to get upset and ask their audience to dox people or brigade people, or that are going to become drama-filled crybabies when they leave because they didn't like that they were called out for their position or something like that. If that happens, people will not be invited back. But in general, that's the idea. We would like bigger names, but I don't want to be a show that's exclusive to bigger names. I like the idea of bringing in new blood. I like the idea of having a guest. Now, you might have to know us in some way to get on the show, or at least have streamed in some way where we could see, because you don't want to just accept a random person because they might come on and just troll you. But other than that, that's sort of what we're looking for, and, also something that Andrew sort of sold me on is, traditionally, you try to have like 2 righties versus 2 lefties. I don't know that that's always the best. I think it depends on the characteristics of the people that are on the panel. Like if it's Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson, and they're going up against Stardust and Prime K's and Joe Lewis and I don't know, someone else. Is anyone worried that Andrew and Rachel are going to be intimidated? I'm not. I'm not at all. It's my job as a moderator to make sure that the positions are getting a similar amount of time to talk about. But what's up, Truth is Light? I am that guy from that thing. That's all right. You got it. Yeah, who knows what's going on with these objects. I'll talk about it tomorrow on the show, being shut down. But yeah, so that's the idea. I think it's an incredible opportunity. Now, the one caveat that comes with this is, because I am a father and I work full time, there will be certain evenings, Saturday evenings, that I'll let people know ahead of time that I might not be available. For example, thanks so much, Omnipotent. I really appreciate it. For example, I know in April, we're taking the man to a dinosaur show in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I will not be around that particular Saturday, but I'm kind of a boring guy. So almost every Saturday I will be around. So, yeah. Any questions about it? Yeah, I mean, Rachel mentioned that Andrew has plans to grow the Crucible. I mean, again, the most amazing thing about here's the thing, like, Andrew's a very good debater. Andrew's a very good moderator. I think debate-wise, he put me way above it. No, I'm just fucking around. But one thing that Andrew does that I'm not good at is Andrew is good from a marketing perspective, right? When I do a show, it's almost criminal how bad I am at this particular aspect. My show is for me. Now, I hope that I entertain my audience, and I think I've built a great audience. I built an organic audience that I wasn't just placating to by saying, yeah, Trump's always the best, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll say Trump sucks when he sucks. I'll say he's great when he's great. I will argue with my audience, right? And I've been left with, because of that, an audience that I don't have to walk on eggshells, because it's a real audience that I built and that I do interact with and answer questions from and talk to and things like that. But I never think, how do I maximize participation with the audience? Right? And that's one of the things the Crucible has done that is absolutely amazing. They have built a community where the members of the community are integral to each show. Because 1/3 of all, thank you so much, 8-Bit, 1/3 of all the shows they do is audience interaction. Some of the best moments on Crucible debates are when the audience gets to call in, or when the audience asks a question on a super chat. And when you are a member of that audience of the Crucible, and it could be you right now in this chat. If you're not on the Crucible, you need to follow him. Because let's say you hate Andrew and you hate me and you're a left-wing person. If you want to make a super chat that's just like, I think Rob's stupid for XYZ, Andrew's going to read it. If you want to make a super chat that says, I think the moderation blows, I think Andrew did a horrible job, Andrew's still going to read it. That ability to actually call out the people in the debates, and hell, you could even call in if you're vetted by, the producers of the show. You have an opportunity. I called in last night in the debate. So how often, where have you ever seen that in a debate show? Not very often. And then where have you ever seen that in a panel show? Never, to my knowledge. None of the ones I've done. Right? So how many times have you been sitting there screaming at your computer screen or your television because you hear some stupid fucking lefty, oh, I think we could stay locked down forever. Oh, well, we don't need small farmers. Oh, we don't need fossil fuels. And you're just like, are you shitting me? Well, here's your opportunity. And for me, that's one of the things that Andrew's kind of imparted to me that I would like to keep going with this show. That makes your audience that much stronger. 10 members of the Crucible audience is worth 100 or 1,000 of some of these other audiences where you have, how many people do you see with millions of subscribers and then you watch one of their live stream and there's 70 people watching? What happened? Even if they're not bots, they're clearly not engaged. So Andrew has built something through his own energy. And certainly Rachel, his wife who's in the chat, she's helped him with it. People like Zen Shapiro, people like Mr. Enigmatic. There are other people behind the scenes that have helped Andrew. But primarily it was Andrew that built something through his own energy, started from nothing, who's now not only built the premier debate channel, but also is building and still improving an actual streaming service with a completely created monetary service for people to donate to make sure the creators get more percentage of the money. And he's done that basically on his own with the help of just a team of a handful of people. So much so that even Omnipotent says, fuck the audience. Even people that don't like Andrew and don't like his politics are willing to be part of it. You don't have to sell, you don't have to. When Andrew's setting up a debate, he doesn't have to sell like, hey, do me a favor, do this. Because if you're going on that show, it's good for your content as well. Even the lefties want politics to come back. They're tired of the bullshit drama. They're tired of it. Enough of the spamming songs. So, I'm happy to be part of that, and I think that I appreciate the, opportunity to work with John Burke. But, I think the difference will be night and day in that we now have someone, we're going from someone in John that was stretched thin because he has so many projects to someone in the Crucible and the team behind the Crucible that literally is on Discord with me for the past 2 nights until 3 a.m. Like, what can we do to help you? What can we do to set this show up? And you have to understand, one of the negatives of dealing with me is I am a fucking idiot when it comes to technology, right? So they have to walk me through like an old man, like, this is what you're going to do. Here's how you do it. Because there's things like, apparently on that show, I will not be streaming through OBS. I'll be streaming through StreamYards, which I've never done, right? And so they're like, we'll sit you down. We'll walk you through everything. We'll get the thumbnails. We'll get the, sort of the songs, the images and all that. There'll be scenes. We'll show you how to click them. We'll show you how to make sure people's super chats are coming up on the screen, right? Like all of that. That's different when we were with Drunken Debates. It was just like 3 minutes before the show, like, okay, let's go, and there was no communication because John was spread so thin. So I think that the sky's the limit. I think that this show is really going to take off. My one, what's the word? Regret, if there is one, is it's going to be the best fucking panel show and I won't be on it debating every week because I'll be moderating. But that's the way it has to be. I cannot do the moderate and debate thing. That would not work. Is this comedy or totalitarianism? I don't know, 8-Bit. I would say neither. I'd say it's a serious show with a tinge of having fun and joking and not wanting people spamming penis songs. But you're free to leave. No problem. Thanks for the $1 you sent, though. Yeah, the FTL. That's basically what they told me. FTW. They're like StreamYard's like OBS Lite. Like if you could do OBS, you'll be fine on StreamYard. So you know, I'm excited. Yeah, go to Rumble. There's no mods on Rumble. And yeah, we will be pushing. We'll be pushing. You know, the beauty of this is one of the things, because of the totalitarian shithead lefties. A lot of times when we'll probably delete the video every week from the Crucible's YouTube website, but I will be recording it and uploading it directly to Rumble. So if you say, I have this happen all the time. What happened to your debate you had with Ruminate? Well, YouTube gave me community strikes, so I had to delete a year's worth of shit. So it doesn't exist, though you can still find that on Twitter. It'll be very easy if you're like, where was that Arena episode the other day where, you know, Andrew was on there and he was arguing with Synth about XYZ. Bam, there it'll be. You'll be able to go to Rumble. You'll see the thumbnail of who all the guests were and be like, there it is. Right? So, and that's still going to bring a reach to my channel. Did I do a video about the Chinese spy balloon? No, we debated about it a little. Yeah, I thought about that, Wicked Wally. I like that. Normies. I think I'm going to go with that. I did think of that a while ago. That, yeah, people that are subscribers to my channel will be the normies. All my little normies out there ready to watch me kick some ass. I also got some other ideas for some shows coming up that I think people are going to like that are me debating. One idea I have for a show, we have to work out how to do this, but it will literally be a call-in show where anyone who wants to, the only criteria will be you have to disagree with me. And we'll take any random person. Bam, you want to call in? We'll debate. Doesn't matter. You can prepare all week. I'll still kick ass. I'm not worried about it. So, but no, I hope people are looking forward to it. Did you guys think, so 2 questions. We're calling the show The Arena. Everyone, just let me know in chat. Does that sound okay? The Arena with robnoerr. It's probably going to be the name of the show. And then the other thing was, do you like the idea of this plaque, where we'll have a plaque where anyone who comes on the show's name gets on it? Let me ask you it this way. If you were a potential guest, would it influence you in any way whatsoever as like a little perk to be like, oh, my name gets to be on this plaque and it's shown? Because to me, it's just a little thing that I think it's cool memorabilia-wise, but I also wonder if there might be someone that's like, well, that sets this apart from other shows. Instead of a plaque to a whiteboard. 8-Bit says no one cares. Penis songs, right, 8-Bit? That's what they would be cool with. But yeah, that's the idea. So we're going to try to run a show this Saturday coming. So that'll be what? The 18th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And tentatively, the topic is going to be... Oh, and that's the other thing. We will still have specific political topics, but a lot of the topics, it might be easier to have more general ideological topics. So, tentatively, the topic for episode 1 is going to be, who's more evil, the right or the left? And hopefully we could chum in some pretty aggressive debaters with a topic like that. Now everyone knows what my opinion is, but I think that's a topic that we could get a lot of heat on. And what you're trying to do is, I clearly have more of a focus on the specific political topics, but with a panel show like this, it might be easier to have it a little more abstract. So I certainly could take it to, let me tell you why the left is more evil, right? Is there a way to get these debates on Spotify as their own episodes? So I will look into that. The problem with the panel show on Spotify is it's very difficult if you can't see a visual, unless, does Spotify do videos as well? I don't know. But audio only, like a podcast format, it's hard to follow 7 unique people's voices and know who is who, right? That could be difficult. That's why we say a camera is necessary. It would be different if it's like I'm debating Aftershock and it's just our audio, because our voices would be different enough. Yeah, absolutely, Alesto. My moderation style, I think that the debate goes best if you allow the panelists to take it where they want. One of the first official debate that me and BPF had was on reparations. The debate was about reparations for about 10 minutes. And then the way we were arguing took it to a conversation about like gay marriage and sort of those sort of culture war issues. Now, the topic was reparations. So it's like, whoa, that's not the topic. But no, that's what was best for the audience and for the panelists. Because what you want as an audience, what makes an engaging debate to watch is that the panelists are knowledgeable and passionate about what they're talking about. And so if you force them, thanks for the follow, but if you force them in to talking about a specific topic that they don't have much to say, it becomes quite boring. So let's say this topic, who's more evil, the right or the left? You know, it is entirely possible that someone will say, I think the right-left paradigm's bullshit. There are good people and evil people on both sides. That's not outside the bounds of the debate topic as far as I'm concerned. And people could argue about that if they want. I hate that both sides do it shit. That to me is the least interesting position, but that's not my job. My job as the moderator is to, to not really interject. So anyways, I hope, I'm sorry, I was just reading. But yeah, I hope that you all are excited for the show. I am. I'm very excited, and I'm serious when I titled this a huge announcement for my show. I think that you as an audience, what you will get out of this show is, one, a quality panel show with a lot of good content. But second, what you will get is you will see a growth in my audience. Doing this show will grow my audience for the rest of the shows I do. It really will. Because there will be eyeballs on that show that I will stand out enough as a moderator that people will be interested in what I have to say. And so that will grow the audience on my show. It will also grow the audience on the Crucibles shows. And so a rising tide will lift all boats. And so I really do thank the people that have been with me for so long. First off, I have 62 people watching right now. That's nothing to sneeze at all. Like I'm humbled that many people watch. And to me, it's never been about, well, I'm not going to stream unless I have X number of people watching. That's not what it's about. It's for me, my enjoyment of doing this show. But I'm not stupid. I would rather have more people watching than less. As long as they're the type of audience members that are engaging and that are interested in my content. Aftershock gets 60 of them. That's true. Shh. So, yeah, thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'm very bad at. I'll tell you, I've told this story before. When I ran for Congress, it was a special election in 2019. And so what had happened was the person who had won the seat had a health issue and had to drop out. And so the Republicans and Democrats each got to come up with their own process to pick a nominee, and then there was going to be an election between the Republican winner and the Democrat winner. You could have been third party, but we all know in our system you wouldn't have a chance. So anyways, as a Republican, the Republicans had won this district by like 80% to 20%. So the Republican winner was obviously going to win. The first thing you did as a nominee was you got in this phone call, and there were 24 people running for this Republican nomination. And it went in alphabetical order when you got to speak. So I think out of the 24, I was like the 17th speaker with my last name, Noor. And the first question, you got to hear everyone's answer. The first question was, why would you be the best person? And you had like a minute or 2 minutes or something. And I'm on hold listening to all these people, ahead of me. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm thinking of saying like, well, I'm not sure I would be the best person because I haven't heard the 7 people behind me, right? What if person 22, I'm like, well, that's the person. They just crushed it. I'm not the best at marketing myself or selling myself. I'm really not. So, it's nice to be with people that know how to do that. since the Congress members that were killed, do they do an early election or do they just leave the seats empty? It depends. So, for example, there's a scare for John Fetterman right now that he will not make it through his 6-year term, which is pretty obvious, which is a huge story. Hopefully, I'll get to talk about tomorrow on the show. But the way it would work in I don't know if it's a national law or if it's in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure this is the way it works in the Senate in general. That seat would be replaced by the choosing of the governor, I believe, who's a Democrat, until the next general election year, which would be 2024. And so that would mean that there would be 2 Senate seats in Pennsylvania up in 2024. And the one seat would only be a 4-year term and the other seat would be a 6-year term. That's usually how it works. That there is a replacement until the next election. Now, if the next election, like in this case, would be 6 years later for Senate, they just do the next general election. So that would be 2 years from now. So, yeah, I mean, everyone kind of knew that that was what was going on because had Fetterman dropped out once he won the nomination, then it was a guaranteed win for Dr. Oz. So basically, his family and the Democratic Party pushed him to stay in the race, and everyone knew, and the media knew, and they gaslit you, and they gaslit the people of Pennsylvania, and said that you're a terrible person if you have questions about his health, and clearly he's okay, and blah, 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 blah. But they knew he wasn't. They didn't give a shit. They're like, whatever, get him. Once he's infirmed, we'll put someone else in there, probably his wife, and then we'll win the election in 2 years. That was the idea. Yeah, there was a guy who died in Pennsylvania and was left on the ballot, and he won. Yeah, it's true. So, yeah, Turin, you're not wrong. Panels with more than 4 people quickly devolve into stupidity. I don't disagree, but as a moderator, I think I'll be able to rein it in. It's all about, this is where the producer's job comes in, right? It's all about the types of characters that you have. Sometimes, like there are different types of characters you get on a panel, right? I am someone who's probably not going to be afraid to mix it up. I'll call someone out. I'll talk shit if that's how the panel's going. And I'm certainly, if nothing else, going to want to talk as much as possible. Other people, it's difficult to get them in the conversation. I'll give you an example. The panel I hosted Friday night, Stardust was on there. She didn't have much to say about the topic. So what that basically came down to was you basically had a situation where BPF, prime Ks, and counterpoints were 90% of the conversation. So you might say, well, 6 people, that's a lot to have that sort of conversation. Well, yeah, but 3 of the guests were not the focus of it. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a bad panelist. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. Yeah, Fetterman, yeah. Good night. Shit. But that's exactly right, Crucible. That's what so many people lost in moderation. Equal time by topic or equal time by side of the argument, right? How many times was I on a panel that would be 4 Republicans or 4 right-wingers and 4 left-wingers? This literally happened, by the way, on a Dylan Burns, right? On a Dylan Burns hippy-dippy panel. There were 8 of us, me and 3 other right-wingers and then 4 left-wingers. And it was a very simple topic. Are you voting for Trump or Biden? And the left said Biden, 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 Biden. And the right-wingers said Biden, Biden, I'm not sure. And then me, I'm like, Trump? Right? And then people were complaining like, well, why is Rob getting so much time to speak? Because literally it's me verse 7. That's why. You can't be like, well, everyone gets 2 minutes. Because then it's like, okay, 14 minutes of them arguing to 2 minutes to me respond, which I could do, right? But it's like, that doesn't make for interesting content where it's just 7 people sitting around agreeing and then someone gets to chime in for a couple minutes, right? So that's what the moderation's about, right? And it's also, you sometimes want to try, if there's like, sometimes what'll happen is you get two people that are going back and forth. Like, take a topic, right? Like we had on Drunken Debates Friday, and Andrew takes this topic of degeneracy to population levels, right? Degeneracy is leading to materialist mindset, which is causing a declining birth rate. And there are significant problems with the birth rate declining, right? And so he's having this discussion, and he's going back and forth with prime Ks and counterpoints. But the topic itself was like degeneracy, and degeneracy that we see in places like award shows or with Lady Gaga and stuff like that. And so I tried to be like, even though this is interesting, these two are going back and forth, there might be other people on the panel that are like, well, I had a different take on the degeneracy, right, aspect of it. I might agree with what's being said about population, but as far as degeneracy, I wanted to take it at a different level. So I tried. I was like, anyone have anything to say about that? They didn't. So, okay. Then you leave the... I just don't want people to feel like, that they were... Not that they didn't get to talk, because if they're just agreeing with someone else, again, you leave the position have the energy, not necessarily the speaker. But if they had a position that was different than the two main positions being argued, I want to make sure that it gets oxygen. In that particular case, it didn't. And that's what's unique about, I think, good moderation. I think Andrew does this very well, and I think it's something I do very well. And it makes sense because I was not just a debater in college, I was a debate coach and a debate judge. So I sat through debates. I kind of know what's going on. You have to pay attention, right? You'll see a lot of moderation that's this. Yeah, so we got closing statements coming up. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're not doing your job. So I'm not saying I'll never look at my phone, but 90% of the time I'm looking at my phone, I'm reading people's comments and things like that. So that's I take very seriously when I come on a show, whether it is, particularly if I'm interacting with other people. As a debater, I take it very seriously. And as a moderator, I'll take it very seriously. Now, there have been exceptions. Trans-positive Rob, sometimes he didn't treat the panel so seriously. But Rob does, So, it's going to be a great show. It really is. And listen, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think that panel shows are my favorite to watch. However, they are a lot of people's favorite to watch. And I think that there is a unique opportunity to take that space, which it doesn't exist anymore. The left wing dominated that space. They dominated running these panel shows, right? They dominated the topics. They dominated sort of gatekeeped who got to speak and who came in and things like that, right? That space is now filled with drama, and it has fell through. And so this is a unique opportunity for me to take that space and do it right. And it won't just be good for me, and it won't just be good for you, and it won't just be good for the Crucible, but it will also be better for other right-wing content creators. And the irony is, it will also be better for other left-wing content creators, because their audiences are tired of just the constant drama. They need to go back to arguing with right-wingers. But bullshit spaces like Twitch have kicked them all off. Whether it be Twitch itself or YouTube itself kicking off right-wing creators, or just making the environment hostile enough through the people hosting and their audiences, the right-wing creators don't go on there anymore. We hold all the cards. It's not some big underlying conspiracy, though, that we're taking over the space. We'll do so, and we'll do so in a professional manner that doesn't exclude the people that we also will have a symbiotic relationship with, and that's people that disagree with us. You need those people too. How else can I look good if I'm not crushing the people I disagree with? Now, in this space as a moderator, that's not my job. But as far as content creation and growing a brand, I think it makes sense to do this. And I firmly believe that my positions are the correct positions. I don't need censorship to win my positions. To the contrary, I just need my positions to see the light of day. And so by growing my channel, by growing this particular show, this panel show, and by growing the Crucible, it makes it more likely that the worldview that I favor will continue to become more and more popular. I don't hold all the cards. I'm not leaving. Burke. What do you mean? I have no problems with John Burke. And I don't even think he streams Saturday night, so it won't be like it's a conflict of his show. But no hard feelings anyways. If you're watching something else other than my show, I don't have hard feelings about that at all. So all right, I'm going to head out. So I have work this evening, and I do block shifts. Cage match between me and John Burke. I think in a physical fight, I would have very little chance against John Burke. I'll be straight up with you. If I was to get in it, you could clip this and send it to John. If me and John Burke get into a fight, I admit wholeheartedly that I will resort to underhanded tactics and cheating. I'll offer him, a sandwich with sedatives or something in it before the match. I'll grease up or something so it's hard to get a hold of me. I'll pay off the referee, whatever it takes. No, I wish John the best. I really do. Again, he is someone who has a lot of hats. He has a lot of businesses that he's creating. He's doing his own show. I don't want to see him stretched thin on my behalf, and I know Aftershock feels the same way. So no hard feelings at all. And so that's honestly how I feel about it. But yeah, I'm not too gung-ho to get in an actual physical fight with John Burke anyway. That's not why I'm saying no hard feelings, but if it came to it, I would not bet on me. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, Aftershock says he would bite, Now, there are physical competitions I could probably beat John Burke in. Some sort of eating competition. Old me could have outdrank him, I bet, though probably not anymore. But no, I sincerely thank you all here. And I hope that you're as excited as I am. Plan for this week is Monday, Tuesday shows. I'll be at my work office. Wednesday, I'm taking off. Thursday, I'll be streaming. I may take Friday nights off now since I'll be streaming Saturday nights on the arena. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes this week. Also, on a completely different note, there is a potential that my wife will be creating a show with her sister, though that show will have almost nothing to do with anything I talk about. It won't be political in nature or ideological in nature. It'll just be like them having fun. And if they do that, it may be on Fridays. So it'll work out. And one, I think they would have a very fun show. They're both hilarious people. But more importantly, now don't tell her I said this. If I'm spending this money on a computer and then she's using that computer to stream her own show, then it can't be like, oh, we spent all this money on your stuff, Rob. I'll be like, now wait, you use it too, right? So it's not just my stuff. It was an investment in your stuff and my stuff. But don't tell her I said that. That's shh. Aftershock, send me, get with me here afterwards. I'll text you or on Discord or something about that computer part. And for the rest of you, I do thank you very much. I'll see if there's someone to raid on Twitch, and then we'll raid them. I'm glad that you were here with me instead of the Stupor Bowl. Nah, like I said, if it was the Steelers, I'd be watching. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's see. Holy cow. I'm not logged in. That's what's going on. Come on. I was going to say, why are these recommendations it's giving me are just like Kai Canet? And I don't mind. I don't have to raid just people that are political, but I don't want to raid people that already have huge channels because it's like you'd rather raid someone that needs the help, right? Let's see. So yeah, I got to go to work, and before then I have to go and take the garbage out and all of that good stuff. So, all right, we got Stardust. She's the only one that I see. So we're gonna raid Right Hammerhand. Yep. Oh God, says my audience. All right, enjoy the Raid of Stardust. Oh, here we go. Do you ever have this happen where it's like you accidentally bump the audio thing and it starts doing the text? I've had like text where I accidentally bumped it where it was like 50 pages long. It's just like, ugh. So, Hop Dub stream. Yeah, that'll be next week. So, all right. I work block shifts, so I go into work Sunday night and I'm there 24/7 till Wednesday, usually around 2 p.m. I do get time off in the evenings, but I still have to be there in case an emergency comes. So I have the ability to stream once I'm off the clock, but I still have to be there. So yeah, I go in tonight. Usually I'm supposed to be there at 10. I always get there early, so I'll be there at 9:30. So yeah, sucks. But work's work. Go to work. So all right, thank you so much. Enjoy this Raid of Stardust. I can't wait to see you all this week. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. Looking forward to that show Saturday, so I hope you're looking forward to it as well. Thank you so much, and as always, have a good one. Enjoy the raid.